Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. And we've got 3 stories tonight that we will go through in depth. Of course, I'm going to take all your comments, all your questions, and all your thoughts as always. So let's get into the show. And I guess we're going to start off with Leny Yoro. Now, this felt like an impossible transfer to complete, to be honest, for Manchester United. Obviously, look, Lille, they're the selling club. They're going to want the biggest fee, and agreeing the fee with Lille was always going to be the easiest hurdle in this race. It was always going to be the easier thing to do. As we know, Manchester United bid around 42 million with 8 million in add-ons, so it's about 50 million altogether. It's a much better package for Lille. It's a much better package for the selling club. They accepted it because it's higher than what Real Madrid have offered, and they don't look like they're going to come in with another bid. Now, where things always had been interesting, where I always been doubtful, I originally thought that this was a pressurizing tactic on Everton to sell Jared Brantwaite at a decent price. I'd always thought that this was the plan from Manchester United would be go to Lille, get a deal agreed, be able to turn around to Everton and say, look, lower the price for Brantwaite or we'll go elsewhere. You need the money. Now, as things have happened, Amadou Onana will be joining Aston Villa as it stands for around about 50 million. That pretty much answers Everton's financial fair play issues, and then it makes it very, very difficult to get a deal done for Jared Brantwaite at the price we want. We don't want to be paying 70 million. United have always wanted to pay between 45, 50, maybe 55 at a push. That's always been the top end of the Brantwaite budget, but it does look like there's something in this Leny Yoro deal now. We've had it confirmed from some of the sources in Spain and some of the sources as well in England and in France. The 3 areas that really concerns this deal. Obviously, Real Madrid will have the advantage. Obviously, Real Madrid will have the initiative in this. Leny Yoro's initial decision was to join Real Madrid, and that was his preference, but a deal had never really been agreed with Lille. Now it stands that Manchester United are in talks with his agent. His agent, of course, well known to us all here on the channel, well known to Manchester United, is Jorge Mendes. And we are talking salary, we're talking contract lengths. And then we had some interesting reports come out today. Firstly, from French sources, backed up by Spanish sources, and now the English press are getting in on it as well, in that United might be ahead in this race and that he genuinely is considering having the move to Manchester United. Obviously, you know, if United Madrid are in for a player, the player's always going to consider both options. They're always going to weigh things up. He's never not going to talk to Manchester United. This probably would have been expected, and I think signs are looking good. I'm not too sure how bound by any kind of glory Leny Yoro is going to be, or if he's going to be bound by thought that he wants to do the best thing for Lille. I don't think that's going to be his preference personally. I think he'll want to do the best thing for himself, but according to sources, his family are urging to take the Manchester United move. Would this be a long-term thing? Would he come here for 2 or 3 seasons and then want to leave? We're not too sure, but it does look like it's being thought about. It does look like it's being considered about. It's according to Santi Avonia. I think he writes for some of the big Spanish news outlets. And he had said Leny Yoro and his family, his mother and father, are all open to the player moving to Manchester United as of today. It's strongly being considered. Lille are happier with United's offer. Madrid are not going to up their offer. They're happier to wait on the player for another season if needs be. So this could be a deal that maybe gets done. This could be a deal that we have newfound hope and optimism in actually getting completed. And for me, that's exciting. I think Yoro's a very, very good young defender. I think he's going to go on to do really good things in the game. I think Brantwaite's still a fantastic option, but I don't know if we're going to get both. I don't think Everton are going to budge in the price. I don't think they're going to come down in their valuation, and I think that this is potentially the move that we're going to try to make. I think this is potentially the deal that we're going to try to do, and it looks promising. It looks like there might be something in this after all. And of course, this leads on to the next deal. This leads on to Matthias de Ligt. And last week we were kind of led to believe that we'd be going for 2 centre-backs, and the centre-backs were Brantwaite, Yoro or de Ligt. So 2 of the 3. Now it looks like we're going 1 for 1. David Ornstein had said it himself. He put this report out there earlier. I've got just for family down there. Good to see you, buddy. Thoughts on Wharton? Too expensive. Think he'd be brilliant. Yeah, I'm a fan of Adam Wharton. I think he'd be a really good player for us. But I do think the best time for us to get him would have been in January. Whenever he was leaving Blackburn, it's another frustration because it means that if we went to Crystal Palace, they're going to want, what, like 60 million for Adam Wharton. I just can't see us doing that deal. I think it's definitely a player worth watching and worth keeping an eye out on. And maybe a future move could be possible, but probably too soon. He's got too long on his contract. We don't really have any sort of negotiation power there with Wharton, so maybe one to put in the back burner for now. Good evening to Chat Sport, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see some people hopping into the comments as well. But we have the David Ornstein report. It came out this morning. He said the current expectation is United will recruit one of Leny Yoro and Matthias de Ligt as opposed to both. Given the deal for de Ligt looks relatively straightforward if United choose to proceed. At present, they seem to be prioritising Yoro and are exploring whether they can convince the young French defender to join them rather than holding out for Real Madrid. So it does look like we're sitting back on this de Ligt deal. It felt like we had personal terms agreed. We were close to doing a structure with Bayern Munich, and that deal might still happen at a different point. Maybe we are reliant on sealed, and we only have the budget at the minute for one centre back. I guess when you start to factor in sales like Willy Kambwala going for 10 million, that's pure profit in FFP. When you start to consider missing Greenwood, who we will get talking about in just a few moments, going for around about 30 million euros to Marseille, that's going to help our budget. That's going to help our FFP. So maybe with a couple of sales, we can hopefully get some money in, and hopefully we can get both. Because I think we need both. I think we need two defenders in this upcoming window. You know, we're looking at Varane going, Martinez, questionable availability. Johnny Evans, 36, 37 now. We've got Kambwala leaving the club. So our centre-back options are pretty thin. We don't really have a lot of quality depth there, so I would like both players. I'm sure if given the choice, you guys would say the same thing, but de Ligt's an interesting one. I like the player. I've always had concerns over his ability to stay fit, but I think as a player, as a profile, he fits us very nicely, and yeah, he would answer a lot of our problems as well with what we want from centre-back. Good progressor of the ball from deep as well. He can also carry the ball, an underrated attribute I think in centre backs. You know, you watch some of the best centre backs about, they're able to bring the ball into midfield, and that just gives you the extra body in there. It means that you open up different passing lanes, and the press from the opposition has to change and adapt to that kind of move. And you'll often see centre backs go on these runs if they're capable of it, and they're very hard to stop, very hard to knock off the ball because it's a runner coming in to the pressing zones that isn't expected. It's forcing overloads. I think a good example, if you watch back the Euros final, there was an occasion where John Stones went on a run from about the halfway line into the Spanish penalty box. Very effective. That could be very useful for us. But I'm a fan of de Ligt. I think that ideally you do both deals. If you can't do them both, I think Yoro's the one to go for. I think if you have to sign just one of the two, I would say Yoro at the moment, but I want both. Maybe I'm being greedy, maybe I'm being a little bit over ambitious, but I want both. I want to get two centre backs in this window. I want to see that happen pretty soon. Then you have two right centre backs. You can have Martinez and Maguire, I guess, very capable of playing left centre half. So that could be your options there for those positions. You got Johnny Evans as cover. You maybe have Victor Lindelof if he stays. Talk is that he might be interested in Fenerbahce. We will keep an eye out on that one as it goes along. But those four as a centre back options, with Evans as kind of like the emergency go-to guys, the fifth choice. That's not too bad in my books, but I think we need both. I think you guys hopefully are going to agree with that there one. But look, Mason Greenwood is an interesting one. Obviously, this was a deal that looked to be done a while back. It looked to be a deal that United were going to get done pretty soon to Marseille. And then there was talk about unhappiness coming in for the mayor of Marseille. Some of the people of Marseille weren't happy. That seems to have been dissuaded. Greenwood has said his yes to Marseille. It does look like he has agreed that kind of a deal. We've got Romano jumping in on that story as well, adding that it's just key formal steps can be made, agreements on contracts, wages, medicals, all that stuff. But Greenwood is happy with the move. United are happy with the fee. Marseille want the player. This is a deal that will get done probably by the end of this week. Probably by Friday, I would say that deal will be done. And that's a big boost. That's 40 million euros, 35 million pounds, I guess, for him and Kambwala. And that's good for our FFP. That's good for our books. I've got Camilo Branda How much for Ligt? The talk is for Ligt, it's going to be about 42 million. So it's in around that kind of fee that we'd offered up for Leny Yoro. I'm not too surprised about that. That seems to be the maximum kind of budget for centre backs, that we want to spend in this window. We were offering 40 million, then 45 million for Brentwood. We've offered 42 plus 8 for Yoro. We've offered 42, I think, for Matthias de Ligt. I think that's in its entirety. Obviously, some will be upfront, some will be guaranteed, and others will be performance-related add-ons. But both those deals, all those deals really for centre backs, offers that we have made, they're in around the same ballpark. That seems to be the kind of money we want to spend on a centre back in this window. So hopefully we stick to it. Hopefully we get both players, and hopefully we can have Leny Yoro at the club, a player very, very exciting, very talented, and hopefully someone that we'll be seeing in a United shirt pretty soon. I still think Madrid will have a big part to play in this. I still think this is far from done, and I think that if Madrid do up their offer and offer little amount of money they want, then this might get done the other way. It might be Yoro going to Real Madrid, leaving us with de Ligt. But it's good to see we're working on multiple deals. We've got backups, we've got contingencies, and we're ready to strike both deals, ideally with the sales of other players going in. I guess in terms of other stories, there's a few that I wouldn't mind going through. I'm sure you guys have seen some of these already today. Sofian Amrabat not training with Fiorentina. He's eager to secure a move away from the club. He's eager to extend his stay at Manchester United, but would be open to joining another Premier League club if United don't opt to make that move permanent. I think it's about another 13 million for Amrabat. I wouldn't be too fussed on it. I don't think he set the world alight at United. I don't think he was really the caliber of player we needed. I said it several times last season that he's the right kind of profile, the kind of sitting midfielder who'll get on the ball and play those short passes, hold his position, let others in front of him go forward. And I think he's the right kind of profile, maybe just not the right player to do it. But we are getting to work. It's good to see that there as well. I got Geneva down there. Want to get involved in your stream next time, bro? Yeah, of course. Like always, get involved in the comments. Don't really get guests on the channel all that often. I think maybe we've had a couple over the year and a half or so that we've been doing this, but it's very last minute with me anyway, because I literally get home from work at 6, so it's always pretty quick turnaround. So I'll just need to figure out a way maybe to do these kind of things. But the Euro deal does look to have legs. It does look to have some kind of staying power in it, and it looks like a deal that's not going away, and I think that's positive. I think that's good for us, and I think that's what we're going to need, because I think you've really got a top young defender there who's going to go on and do really good things in the game. It does kind of feel like when Varane left Lens maybe 11-12 years ago, when he first went to Real Madrid around the same age. It kind of feels like that, and at the time we could have got Varane, we opted not to sign him. I feel like this is the right move to make for United, and I'm sure there'll be people within the club sharing the same sentiment and having the same opinions as well. But yeah, look, it's looking good on the Euro front. I think it's looking more positive. I wouldn't say I'm confident this happens just yet. I would say I have more optimism. I thought before this was a negotiation tactic for us to turn around to Everton and say, look, if you don't give us Brentwood for this amount, we'll go and sign Yoro for this amount. You get no money, then you're in financial difficulties. Them selling Onana to Everton, to Aston Villa, £50 million. Yeah, look, that's going to be a good deal for them in terms of their FFP. So that'll probably help them balance the books out and avoid financial punishments. But it's an interesting one anyway. I wouldn't mind seeing what you guys are thinking about Sofian Amrabat as well. I'm kind of conflicted. If we sign Ugarte and Amrabat, it's maybe not the worst, but I mean, if Amrabat's the only midfielder we sign this summer, I'd be pretty disappointed in that, to be honest, guys. I really, really would, but I'm open to seeing what happens. David Ordenstein, of course, earlier today said Marseille have reached an agreement in principle with Mason Greenwood to sign the forward. So that's deal done with United. That's deal done with Greenwood. Obviously, salary, contracts, all that stuff. It'll still be going on. We'll still be talking about medicals and stuff. So yeah, Greenwood, it's not done, but it's heading that direction. It's not signed, sealed and delivered. They have some interesting stories as well about Scott McTominay, maybe one to keep an eye out on, but I'd be surprised on this one if it happens. It's McTominay to Galatasaray. Firstly, Alex Crook said Manchester United are ready to extend the contract after Scott McTominay to keep him at Old Trafford. United have rebuffed interest from Galatasaray. In McTominay, meanwhile, Fulham are eyeing him up as a potential João Palhinha replacement. I feel like McTominay is more likely to go to Fulham than he is to Turkey. I just can't see this deal happening. I think inside the club they'll like him. I think he's on a good wage, and I think they'll look at him as a useful squad player. I don't know if we're going to sell McTominay, but I mean, you could see it. And the reason you could see it again, guys, coming back to those three key letters, FFP, financial fair play. As we know, if you sell a youth player, anyone who's an academy graduate, that goes down as 100% profit. It's really good for your books. So that's why we sold Kambuala for 10 million. That's why we're going to sell Greenwood for, I think, 26 million pounds. It comes to altogether. So that's why we're doing that there. Greenwood going to have a 50% sell-on clause as well. That's a smart move by United. That means, as we know, I'm sure you guys can all do the math. You know, if it does come to be that Greenwood leaves Marseille in a season or two for 40 million, then we get 20 million just for the fact that he's sold, and that's another nice bit of money that we could get. So it's smart business. It's good to see United operating in ways that I don't think that we normally do, or we normally haven't over the last couple of years, and hopefully, you know, we can just keep on going with that. Hopefully we can keep on with this smart transfer policies, these smart ideas, and the smart way of operating our football club, and I think it's helping us in this market. Hopefully we'll just continue to do that, though. That has to be the priority in the upcoming window. And just to give you guys some more confirmation on that, we had, of course, Mason Greenwood being confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. That deal looks to be getting close to done. And yeah, look, it's one of those. I would be surprised if Greenwood ever came back at United. I would be surprised if he managed to mount a comeback. And I just think maybe it's best for all parties for him to move on. Gives him a new start, gives United a new start, gives us some money into the bank as well, and that's hopefully going to help Manchester United moving forward. But that has to be the plan. That has been the plan so far, and it's good to see we've stuck to it, and I'm hoping that it's going to make a difference for us in the upcoming transfer window. Look, some other side notes. We can ignore all these stories, to be honest, guys, because I think these are really silly stories. United are not going to go in for Southgate after extending Erik ten Hag's contract. I think we know that. We're not going to go in for Tuchel, despite the fact we extended Erik ten Hag's contract. We're not going to change manager at this point. We just had weeks upon weeks of reviews and decided to keep Erik ten Hag for now. We're not going to go and change that there. You know, I'd be really surprised if we do that. We can ignore that there one. Do have another quick story as well for you guys. A little bit of an update, I guess, on Rasmus Højlund. United Standard putting this out there. Rasmus Højlund is going to have the number 9 shirt next season. So new shirt number for Højlund. That opens up number 11. Do we give it to Garnacho? Maybe. I'm not too sure. We'll find out what happens to that there one, I guess. And we also have some Erik ten Hag quotes as well. You know, he's been talking about some of the change in guard at Manchester United. He said it was a real complicated season last year. We can't expect all the problems to be sorted in such a short notice with new structure coming in. Serdeev, Dan Ashworth, Jason, Christopher Vivell. You know, you can't sort it out in such a short period, but it really can accelerate the process. I'm feeling optimistic. Things are going in the right way. So, you know, that's more positive news, I guess. It's good news for us today. We have got the people we wanted in, and seemingly they're making something of an immediate impression. I'm glad about that. Geneva said, I would sell McTominay, not the type of centre mid Erik ten Hag needs for his style of play. No, I would agree with that. You know, I think he's got his attributes, McTominay. I think he's a good driver with the ball. I think he's a good scorer of goals, and he can always pop up with something. I don't think that he's necessarily the player that we need and in the middle of the pitch, but I do like him. And I think he's got positive attributes, and he scored a lot of goals for us last season. So if he stays, he stays. If we sell him for a good fee, I'm not going to be too annoyed about it. And we did some stuff as well coming in on Xerxes. I'll go through that there in just a second. Jasper said, what happens with the 7 shirt? It's going to stay with Mount, I assume. I've got Lucky Singh down there. He needs a decision from Yoro because he doesn't want to play Johnny Evans and Lisandro Martinez. No, neither do I. I think as much as I love Johnny Evans from being from my local area and as a United Academy product, I don't really want to see Johnny Evans be our most capped player in the Premier League at centre back. I don't want to see Johnny Evans play more than 10-15 matches next season. You know, I want him to have an easy season, limited appearances. That's what I want to see from Johnny Evans next season. So yeah, look, that's why I think we've got to get 2 centre backs in. I think if your centre back depths are Yoro and Ligt for the right centre back, Martinez and Maguire at the left, you've got Johnny Evans who can cover both. That gives you 5 centre backs. You've got some youth options as well, who maybe you could put in there if needs be, and I don't think that's too bad. Obviously fitness and stuff will be key. I wouldn't trust Martinez and Ligt to stay fit all season. That's why we need those other players, but we'll see what happens. The understanding at the moment, David Ornstein and some of our really tier one sources, is they're all kind of saying, look, here's the thing. It looks like it's going to be either Ligt or Yoro for now. And I get it. I get it. I hope with Seals, like we can hopefully boost that. But I'd be expecting a big summer from United in terms of incomings and probably outgoings as well. Like he says, how will we allowed to play Lisandro Martinez? We just got to look after him as well. He's an aggressive defender. He will pick up knocks. We don't want to rush him back. We want to make sure that he that he's fit and ready for us, and that he's a player that we can call upon, that he's a player that we can go to, and a player that we can use in the upcoming in the upcoming season. Hopefully we can do that. Hopefully we'll get that. Big ups to Rajat as well. Good to see him in the chat, as always. Thanks very much for joining in with me, man. Really appreciate it. But yeah, look, some interesting quotes from Ten Hag. We're talking Joshua Zirkzee now as well. He's done his interview with United. Ten Hag, speaking on Zirkzee, he says, different type, and it's always what we're looking for. It gives us more options tactically, which is good, especially up front. We have many players who play very direct, and they can take a big benefit from Joshua's skills. So that's kind of what we've been talking about. This is a really different profile. He's going to get on the ball. He's going to help link things up and make more happen in the final third with his movement, with his passing, with his touches in the box. So, fundamentally, there's two ways you can add goals to your team. You either sign a goal scorer, or you add somebody who's going to facilitate better play in the final third, and hopefully that's what Zirkzee can do as well. Rajat said, Ben Crawford, been here 8 years, very consistent. It's one of those, I can't see Rashford going this summer. We'll see what happens next year. It's going to be a big season for him. Hopefully he can have a good season. We're going to need those goals from somewhere. But yeah, look, on Zirkzee, he says he's a player who can link the game, be available, hold the ball, have good ideas, be creative, and make combinations. And some interesting quotes on Sancho as well. I think this is a real shocker of the summer, guys, as well. Sancho coming back into training, Ten Hag saying, as you said, we've drawn the line. United need good players. Jadon is a very good player. We have drawn the line. We have moved on. Everything is okay. So it does look like the rift has been healed between those two. That's what it's sort of looking like. But it's unclear whether Sancho will remain available for transfer, with United now saying the focus is him having a full part in pre-season. We'll see how that develops. We'll see how that changes, and whether or not it stays that way. But it's interesting anyway. But that Ornstein article, a little bit disappointing. We wanted both centre back. I would agree with Rajat there. You want to get both. I think that's key. Our centre backs at the moment are Lindelof, Maguire, Martinez, and Evans. That's not good enough. You need two. We really need to, guys. We really do. Guys, drop a like in the video if you can. I think we're up to 22 likes, so big ups for that as well. Much appreciated, as always. And yeah, look, I'll have another quick look for some of the other stories. But Yoro's an interesting one. It looks like we're maybe working him down. Maybe he's starting to consider United. Certainly, it seems his family are considering us, and his parents will have a big input. He's only a young guy. I think he's only 19. So they'll still have a big say on it, but ultimately it'll come down to Leny Yoro. Lille can accept a deal with us. We can agree a contract with his agent, and his parents could be all for it. But if he doesn't want to come, he doesn't want to come. That's what it's going to come down to. But I think I wouldn't say I'm confident it happens, but I've optimism that we get this deal done. We've optimism that we get the deal over the line, and that maybe we do get Leny Yoro. Maybe that could be what we're going for. It'll be an interesting one. Definitely one to watch out for in the next couple of days. Hopefully we can move on quickly with our transfer targets. Copa America's done now. Euro 2024 is done now. Let's get these deals done. Let's get people in for pre-season. Let's get everybody understanding their game, working on the tactics. We don't want to have a lineup like we did yesterday against Rosenborg. We want to get as many of our best players onto the pitch as possible as well. Lucky says, Marseille are now ready to do Greenwood. Yeah, it looks like that deal's going to happen. And Rajat said Yoro's real dream club is Real. It is, but I think that the very fact that this story still going. The very fact that we're getting reports out here that Leny Yoro is considering United, he's thinking about it, he's got people around him saying that maybe this is the better move. Lille are very happy with United's offer compared to Real Madrid's. They're not going to come back in with another offer. It could be set up. Maybe we've swooped in and we're going to get a player instead of Real Madrid, which would mean a lot and say a lot, a real statement of intent if we beat Real Madrid to a player like Leny Yoro. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it. I'm not going to count it as a done deal. It's a long, long way off, and there will be more twists and turns in this saga. I'm positive of that, but it's one of these, something maybe we can be cautiously optimistic about. I don't think it's going to be a guarantee. I think maybe it's just something that we can have that little bit of extra hope that maybe we didn't have last week when the first bid came in. I think Yoro's a really good player. I agree with Rajat. Let's just see what happens. Let's see where we go with it as well. Rajat said, how do you lose to 11th place Rosenborg with three or four first team players? I have no idea, man. I didn't watch the match. I was in work, but I think Rosenborg are like in the middle of their season and we're only starting pre-season. I'll assume that's it, but some of the tactics, again, very open in midfield from what I could see, and that's some of our issues and problems we had with Erik ten Hag throughout last season. Let's hope we address it and we get players who can make us look a more functional team on the pitch. But yeah, look, we'll see. Some interesting performers as well, not their performance. Collier seemed to stand out. Amas got some nice involvements in the second half, but it's one of those ones. We'll see where we are in a couple of weeks' time after the American leg of the tour coming into the the Community Shield. That'll really show us, how successful pre-season's been. I've got a Bubakar saying as well, need to get 2 centre backs, get a left back in, and then focus on defence and midfield. Yeah, I would agree with that. We want to stop leaking goals. We want to have a better midfield as well. A better midfield in terms of our defensive stuff and when the ball back, retaining the ball. That helps us out a lot going forward. It means, we can move the ball a lot quicker. We can get in behind teams. We have more creativity on the pitch. We can keep the game going at a better tempo, because the best moments from United last season and the moments I think we looked best was sustaining pressure in the opposition penalty box. And we didn't do it often enough, but whenever we could have a shot, maybe it gets blocked, we work it out wide, we put a cross in, we win the ball back again, and you keep on top of teams like that. I think that makes a difference there, and I think that's what we want to try build towards. More sustained pressure, not everything coming down to a one-off pass. If the pass succeeds, we're in for goal, but if we lose it, then all of a sudden we're getting counter-attacked on. That's not what we want to see. And Rajat said we do need attackers. Xavi Simons' bid is true. I don't know. It's one of those, man. If you told me that we were going to go in for him on loan, I would get it. I think that's more achievable to do. I think PSG will be reluctant to sell, but if you took him on a loan, maybe loan with an option to buy, maybe that could be something we do. I'm not too sure. Very, very impressive in the Euros. Very impressive for Leipzig last season. We'll see what we're going to do with Xavi Simons. Maybe one to keep an eye out on. Doesn't seem to be the immediate priority. In terms of outgoings, guys, the next one's going to be Greenwood. That's going to be done pretty soon. If he said yes to Marseille, we've agreed a fee. It's just going to be the formalities. That will get done. Kambuala has left the club. Talk about Lindelof. Talk about McTominay as well. And then it's going to be about getting players in. Looks like it'll be centre back. The Ligt deal looks ready to go at any time, which is good. I think maybe we're waiting for final word from Leny Yoro on his decision before we either pull out of that deal or we make that deal happen. But I'm pretty confident we get our deals done. Pretty confident anyway. Rajat said as well, Lucky's doing Fabrizio and Ornstein's job. Yeah, he's doing good. He's doing good stuff. And Samuel said we need to sign 2 centre backs. We do. I think you want both. You get If you get the Ligt and you get Yoro and they play in the right centre back spot, you have Martinez. We know Maguire can play left centre back. That's 4 good centre backs. You got Johnny Evans as cover. You still have Lindelof, but you could sell at that point. That gives you more money come in, or you have 6 centre backs. That gives you your options that we're going to need, and I think that's good for us, and I think that's what we need. Look, guys, thanks so much for joining in tonight. Gonna leave the stream here. I have to go to the gym now as well, so doesn't get any quieter anyway for myself. Thanks so much for joining in tonight, guys. We'll be back live tomorrow at the normal time of 7 o'clock, slightly later today because we got home from work that little bit later as well. So look, thanks so much for tuning in. Keep an eye out on all the transfer stuff as well. Enjoy your Tuesday night, guys, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.